seeing Galapagos. He mentioned this to me when I did a video about what is it, September the 23rd, because people been saying for years and years, ever since I was in school, right? Like 8 years ago, I remember when I was like 12, 13 years old. Because again, I used to watch, truth videos back then too, right? So I remember back when I was 12 or 13, like 8 years ago, and you had people back then who had, YouTube channels and they were talking about, well, something's going to happen on September the 23rd. And usually it would correlate around this thing called CERN, right? With this Hadron Collider they had in Switzerland. You can look it up on the internet if you don't know what I'm talking about. But, they had like a theory with that, on September the 23rd, they were going to collide these particles and try to open up a portal to the other side to bring like demonic entities through to our side, right? Lifting the veil, so to speak. And of course, nothing ever happens. Year after year after year after year, they make these predictions and it never happens. Same thing with these idiots saying the rapture is going to happen on such and such date. Year after year after year after year, they say it and it never happens. Which those of us who are smart and know what we're talking about, we know the Bible clearly says that nobody knows the day or that hour, that the, return of Christ, also the rapture. What happened? Nobody knows that. Christ said he didn't even know, not even the angels in heaven. Wait, so hold on a second. So if the Messiah himself, Christ, and his angels, if they don't even know when the rapture day is going to happen and when his second return is going to happen, then how the hell do these guys on the internet going around know when it's going to happen? When you ask these guys, they have no clue. All they know is, well, but it's my calculations are right. And then when the day comes that they said it would happen on, then they say, oh, well, it's next year on that date. Again, it's astounding to me. It's absolutely astounding. But I was going to bring this up. October the 4th, right? There was this whole big alert that went off on everybody's phone. If you're living in the United States, on October the 4th this year, there was a alarm that went off at like 2:20 p.m. It was a big alert, and you got emergency sign on your phone that this was, just a test so they could test out, the emergency preparedness and make sure the systems are all up and running, which we really know why they're doing that right now. It's like it's not a coincidence that all these governments around the world are testing out these emergency alerts for their population because they know that we're on the verge of nuclear war right now, right? Russia, just a few weeks ago, I believe, they also did their own drill with the population to give them, alerts on their phones. So America just tested theirs out a few days ago. But the reason I bring this up is all these guys on the internet, like Canadian Prepper and Full Spectrum Survival, and among other dudes, which I give them credit. They're very smart individuals. You get a lot of good information from them, but they go above and beyond on some things. Like they were saying, oh, on October 4th, people are going to go crazy, right? On October 4th, people are going to go insane when they get this alarm on their phone, even though the alarm literally says that no action needs to be taken place because this is just a test. It's not saying that this is really what's going on now, that there's really, a missile inbound to your location. It says this is literally a test. But regardless of that, these guys were saying, oh, well, people are going to go insane. People are going to go raid Walmart shelves and empty out the toilet paper section and, buy all survival goods in the store. People are going to go insane for the next couple of days after this emergency alert happens. And dude, I remember I was actually out at a mall right now, ironically enough. Well, not right now, I meant to say right when the alert went off on the phone, right? I was actually sitting at a mall when this happened. And I heard everybody's alarm go off on the phone, right? And mine went off too. And I read it and then it went away when I clicked the button. But everybody was walking around like normal, like nothing actually took place. Which I expected it to be that way, because it's no different than a alert going off any other time. It's not like this is like the first time it ever happened. I mean, this happens time to time. They have to test these things out. Same thing with Amber Alerts. right? Amber Alerts. I mean, shit, where I'm at, those things are going off every day, it seems. But going back to October the 4th, these guys were hyping it up to make it sound like, well, you need to go out and, spend hundreds of dollars on emergency preparedness right now, today, because when this goes off, people are going to go insane. Like, I remember Nate, right, Canadian prepper, in the morning, he put a video up like 5 hours before the alarm went off. And he said, quick, get up, get off your ass, and go down to the store and stock up on these goods before 2 p.m. today, because it's gonna be a madhouse in the stores. And guess what? Nothing happened. So again, some of these guys, they what's the word I'm looking for? Exaggerate things, right? They over exaggerate things above what they need to be. So October 4th came and went without a change being seen, right? It was just business as usual. Quaker Jake said, "I'm doing well. How are you?" I'm surviving. I'm surviving. I mean, shit, I could be doing better, but I could be better. But I'll survive. One thing I wanted. Let me see real quick. Let me just read the comments and then I'll get back into what I was saying. Bear with me a second. Kyoko said, "I wanted to know about that day and the 11th." I'm not sure what the. I'm not sure what you mean about the 11th. I haven't heard about them doing anything on the 11th. You can comment it down below and it might ring a bell. But yeah, as far as the 4th, again, it just came and went. It was just a regular alert on your phone. Nobody lost their minds. You didn't have to go spend hundreds of dollars in preparedness that day because everything was going to go crazy. It's like, no, that didn't happen. Uh, Christine Webster said, Earth is heaven on Earth. Yeah, they treat it like hell. Well, let me comment on that. Um, according to the Bible, um, heaven can be a condition on the earth, same thing as hell. Like, let me give you an example. There are there's 2,500 people in the world. You can look this up to support what I'm saying. There's 2,500 people in the world who have $1 billion, if not multiple $1 billion in their bank account. Let me say that again. There are over 2,500 people in the world that have $1 billion+ in their bank account. Those people, metaphorically speaking, they're living in heaven right now. Meaning what? They don't have a care in the world. They can live the rest of their life, spending hundreds of thousands every day without a care in their life. They can have anything they want compared to someone like me and you who shit, I have to live off of $20 a week. So I'm living in hell, right? I'm metaphorically speaking, I'm living in hell. But that person, they're metaphorically speaking, living in heaven. Now, this is different from what I said earlier about, when I was making fun of people saying that people in Israel are living in heaven, because they literally think that like the kingdom of heaven, like the actual physical kingdom of heaven is established right now. That's clearly not true. However, we have to understand in the context of the Bible, certain times when you see the word heaven or hell used, it can mean a symbolic thing. So somebody can symbolically, metaphorically speaking, be in a state where they're doing okay, and that could be considered heaven. Or somebody like myself could be going through a tough time. So I could compare this to hell. Does that mean I'm literally burning on fire in so-called hell? No, but it's a tough position. So I'm in hell right now. You ever heard somebody make a statement and say that I'm catching hell, right? Or, they might be outside working in the heat and they'll say, well, damn, this is hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? So again, it just depends on the context in which the word is used. Hell, Jonah was in hell, or Jonah chapter 2, verse 2, where I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell I cried, and he heard my voice. Now, does that mean that Jonah was actually burning in hell? Of course not. It just was a symbolic metaphor that he was going through a hardship. Very simple. Okay, bear with me just a second. Um, See someone in the back chat. I'll bring you up. Let me just do this real quick.